In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to take a unit voice that you designed in Syntona, make it into a JMSL plugin so that you can compose a piece with it using JMSL's notation package, JMSL Score. The voice that we're going to use is called Delay Pan. Notice that it's in a package called algomusic.numbala.voices, and that package names correspond to nested directories. So when this is compiled, we should expect to see a folder called algomusic, inside which there will be a subfolder numbala, inside which there will be a subfolder called voices. And this class, DelayPan, will show up inside that voices directory as delaypan.class. Okay, so this source code was exported automatically by Syntona. We didn't code this by hand, but we're going to make one very small change to it to make it a JMSL plugin. Here's the class definition. Public class DelayPan extends circuit, implements unit voice. That's already familiar to you, but this is the new thing. You got to make it a JMSL plugin. So it implements unit voice and JMSL plugin. We're going to go to source, organize imports, and we will see that it imported SoftSynth JMSL plugin here because JMSL.jar is in my Eclipse project's class path. JMSL plugin is an interface, but you do not have to implement any methods for it. This is just a way to tag this class as a plugin. You may have a lot of classes in your folder, and JMSL uses this interface to tag and identify which ones you actually wanted to exhibit as a plugin in its environment. All right, so I'm going to just clean this project. That gets rid of all old class files and automatically rebuilds it. So if I go into this JMSL JSON demo folder, which is here, I should see a bin directory and a source directory. The bin directory is the one that we're interested in. And as I described, it has a subfolder called algomusic, a subfolder called numbala, a subfolder called voices, and the delaypan.class that we just compiled. Okay, we're going to leave that on the side for a minute and then look inside the JMSL v2 distribution that you have on your machine. So we're going to go into that and look for a folder called JMSL_plugins. This is where all the plugins go. So this JMSL plugins corresponds to the bin directory. So anything under bin that we want in a plugin has to be rebuilt under plugins with the same directory structure. That's really important. Okay, so here's the algomusic in bin. Here's the algomusic in my JMSL plugins. Inside there I have numbala. Inside here I have numbala. Inside here I have voices. Inside here I have voices. This is the delay pan that I just compiled. I'm going to copy it, right, Command C, and I'm going to paste it here, replacing the old one. This is just an exercise you would have to do whenever you wanted to update your source code. All right, so now I have this plugin inside my JMSL distribution. Now to launch JMSL Score, since I'm running on a Mac, there's the OS X folder. If you're under Windows, there's the Win folder. Open up the OS X folder and double-click Run JMSL Score command. That will launch the notation package, and it'll also have scanned for the plugins. So if everything went well, I should be able to go to Orchestra, create a new orchestra. I should be able to go to JSON, import JSON unit voice, go to algomusic, numbala, there it is, voices delay pan. Great, so that worked. There is the max voices. That's going to be polyphony, 8-voice polyphony. There's my delay pan class name. Hit OK. Click anywhere on the score to refresh, and you see the word delay pan showed up. Now by hitting Command and clicking, I get that delay pan voice going. I'm going to just loop that a little bit and show you that by double-clicking on a note, you can edit the synth parameters of that. So I'm going to increase the pan hardness of this, the feedback frequency, the LFO amp. So you really want that first one to sound different to make this demo obvious. So I've changed the timbre of that first note. I could double click this one and make similar changes. And so every note can have its own synth parameters. Okay. Cut those in half. Double them. I'm going to stop for a second, and I'm going to dive back into Eclipse and show you signal processing. So I have this other class that I built called Square Wave Multiplier. It has a square wave and it multiplies it by whatever input is coming into the circuit. In order for JMSL to identify it as something that can receive a signal, you have to implement unit sync, which I did here. And now I'm going to add that it's a JMSL plugin. And again, I'm going to organize imports. Unit sync means that it has to have a get input method. If it has a get input method, then JMSL can support taking a signal and plugging it into this square wave multiplier. Okay, so I don't really have to hit clean, but I just do it to make sure I've got everything fresh. So I'm going to go back into my bin, and I see here that under Algo Music, I've got Didkovsky Voices Square Wave Multiplier, which is exactly what the package was. Algo Music Didkovsky Voices Square Wave Multiplier. And now back to my JMSL Plugins folder. Algo Music Didkovsky Voices Square Wave Multiplier. So I'm going to just, everything is parallel, right? Hit Command C to copy. Paste it back in there. And now I'm going to relaunch JMSL Score. Still got the old one kicking around. I'm going to close that. And I'm going to go through this exercise again. I'm going to import our voice. I'm going to add a few notes. Make those a triplet by hitting the number 3. Maybe make a chord. And then I'm going to go to JSON, import unit sync. And there's Didkovsky, and there's my square wave multiplier. So I'm going to add that to here. I'm going to make that a half note, and I'm going to make this a half note. And then I want to patch the output of my delay pan into the square wave multiplier. So to do that, I go to Orchestra. I open up the patch bay, I patch the orchestra, and on the left here you see all the signal sources. Delay pan is a signal source, square wave multiplier is a signal source, and then these are the signal processors. I only have square wave multiplier. I could actually send square wave multiplier back into itself, but I'm going to take the output of delay pan and send it into signal processor square wave multiplier. Okay, so now I've done this patching. Let's look at the mixer for a second. Delay pan is a stereo, has a two-part output, so I got two channels for it. I'm going to pan it hard left and hard right. And there's my square wave multiplier. Might as well pan that sort of a little bit to the right. So now if I play it, if I just bring down the volume of the delay pan, you can see just the output of the signal processor. And of course I can change the parameters of this. Also kind of interesting opportunity here is that your signal processor could be a chord, so you could build up a chord with signal processors, each one of which has different parameter on it, which is kind of neat. Alright, that is how you convert your Syntona voices into JMSL plugins, and this is how you patch a signal processing voice into the output of another voice. There it is.